Let the vengeance begin!
Howdy, howdy, Sue Devil here, and welcome to my first build developing video. So I had gotten a comment in one of my other videos where Disco Poppin was saying that he's kind of just trying out multiplayer, dwarf player, and he was trying to get some games to work on developing builds, and he was setting up lobbies and wasn't having a whole lot of luck. And what did he think, or what did I think he should do, or is a good way to go about it? And I said, well, just message me, or no, get a hold of me on Steam, and we'll get together sometime and just go over and look at some builds and maybe just play a few games and have some fun. And it turned into a really nice session. We had one quick game where I played his opponent each time, and he played the Dowie. And we had one quick game. I played the Lizardmen, because the Lizardmen Dowie are very good against the Lizardmen, and he did very well in that. So then we decided to go over and play Chaos. And so I have 4 replays that I'm going to show. In each of them we develop his build. You know, we talked about it in between and thought about which would be better units or how to make the build a little better here and there. And the very first build I'll show right here is this is actually a nice straightforward build. Bunch of Iron Breakers, including the Norgrimlings Iron Breakers, and 5 Thunders and Ungrim Iron Fist. Now I didn't know what his build was going to be. I just said pick a build that you want to play against Chaos, and we know that Ungrim Iron Fist, just stripped down with no abilities, is very strong. Anti-large, armor piercing, unbreakable. You know, he's just a very good cheap lord, and he's a very competitive lord. And Iron Breakers are very good. Thunders can be very good in this matchup. So I brought a build something like this with Kolek and a Sorcerer of Death, some Chaos Warriors chosen with great weapons, and some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and some Chaos Poison Warhounds. And we just went through and played 4 games, and I'll go over those 4 games and talk about what we talked about until we got to the last game and the build that he settled on, which I think is really strong. And I've saved the build to my saves as well, because I definitely want to play it. It's a really nice build. And it was really fun developing it. So, you know, we'll go ahead, we'll go and look at the games, and we'll talk about the process. For those of you that just, this isn't your kind of thing, I get it. Fast forward to the very end, you'll see the build and kind of what it looks like. I'll talk about its strengths and that stuff. For those of you who like to think your way through these sorts of things and walk your way through the process, this video is for you. We'll go through and start looking at the build. So we'll get into the battle replays. Okay, and Iron Breakers do rule, by the way. And where do we got? Okay, so this is second game we played. No, that's not that. Here we go. 0 training. So we played these 4 games. So I played the Warriors of Chaos, and Disco Popping played the Dwarfs. So I'll get into that replay, and yep, this is pretty much the build I showed up there. Yep, it looks exactly the same, and we'll go over the game. I'll just do a quick cast, and we'll talk a little bit about how the build's performed. So I might as well just hit play. You know, I've got the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes on this side, some Chaos Poison Warhounds. I got the same thing, Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes on this side and Chaos Poison Warhounds. And I just want to get my Chaos Marauders coming up, take some blasting charges, get these Chaos Warriors sort of into the line and engaged. And then I'll bring Kolek and start running through the line. I'm going to use my Death Sorcerer to cast Fate of Buna. And I'm already getting some shots. These Thunders are going to do very well. You can see they're whittling down these Chaos Warriors. But, you know, these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes are going to do great against Iron Breakers. Now, they're going to get some shots off, but I'm trying to bring up my Chaos Poison Warhounds up and around. I'll do the same out here. I'm just trying to get some side shots with these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. You can see these Chaos Marauders get decimated. But I bring in Kolek and just start attacking. And he's going to start getting shot at some point. Where is Ungrim? Ungrim's over on this side, so he's got to find a place to bring him in. But, you know, I'm just posting up, looking for a good spot for these guys. And here I make the rear charge order to come in and try and get rear charges with these Chaos Poison Warhounds, and we know they're pretty strong, and these Thunders can be pretty vulnerable on the back line, but just shut them down, get some damage on them. And I moved back these guys. I just wanted to get out of the range of the Ironbreakers blasting charges, and we've got the mainline engagement going on, you know, and Kolek has come in here and done a good job hitting these Norgamling's Ironbreakers, and he's just gonna go around. He can do whatever he wants to do until Ungram comes or he starts getting shot. So you can see I'm just sending him over here. I'm gonna run him into the Thunders and just start getting some damage. You can see these Chaos Poison Warhounds are doing a good job. These guys are still just shooting in, and these guys got routed off, so but I will bring them in. And you know, the Ironbreakers, Chaos Warriors are great weapons. I'm putting the Fate of Buna on them to really whittle them down, and these guys are doing just fine. Now I'm starting to really push into this line. He's finally got Ungram in onto Kolek, but I'm going to see that, and Kolek can pretty much run wherever he wants to. So it's a bit of a atrocious battle, but you know, we're taking shots where we can. We've shut down these guys for a little while, so I'm going to find another target. And yeah, I'm just charging in here because I don't have anything to fear with these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes against these Thunders. I set in Kolek to help buckle those guys, and now I think I'm going to send in these Horsemen to come in, and well, maybe I'll come in this way. But it's really hard to keep those Thunders online, so these guys are running back, and I can just run in and start shooting with the axes into the backs of these Ironbreakers if they're not careful. And you know, the engagement is going good. We're starting to push in now with our front line. We've buckled and opened up a hole in the middle. Kolek is doing an amazing job getting after the Thunders, which he does do. We got Chaos Poison Warhounds that are in there. We have our Chaos Sorcerer of Death. I'm just putting him up against the Thunders because why not? Yeah, he's on foot, but what does he have to fear for Thunders? Nothing. And we're bringing these guys in. I'm trying to get a charge on these Thunders. When we do that, and I'm just still shooting in on these Ironbreakers, and it's a pretty messy fight, but you can see the Marauders, you know, I can just keep pushing them around so I can get to the shots that I want. Don't have really a whole lot to fear with them. There's not a whole lot that's going to do that much damage, so I'll chase down these Thunders and keep these Marauder Horsemen after these Thunders, and now they're shattered. I've got Kolek coming out. I just want to get away from Ungram, and it's pretty easy to do. Ungram can't chase him down very effectively, and now he's trying to push these guys out a little bit, and you can see I got a little too close here with the Marauder Horseman with throwing axes. I don't know if I'm going to notice that, but he's probably going to take shots, and he's got his blasting charges off with the Ironbreakers, so he's just going to come up and try and get that engagement. You know, these Ironbreakers and Chaos Warriors with great weapons, it's an atrocious fight. You know, these Ironbreakers are going to do just fine, but it's just going to take a very long time for that fight to resolve. And where are my Chosen? So I have my Chosen somewhere. I don't know where they are. Maybe he got them. Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Kolek's out here beating up some Thunders, and I thought I'd turn around and get some Chaos Warriors on Ungram, who are going to do extremely well on Ungram Iron Fist, and then get Kolek Sun Eater. He has Foe Seeker on him, and we finally finish off Ungram. And now it's the Ironbreakers have very, very good leadership, but I can start bringing back some of these units that have routed, and just pick off the units that I want. I mean, I got these guys that can come back. I just got to stay away from the Ironbreakers with my really weak units, but so I'm just going to go in and try and kill these Thunders and get all the ranged off and get them routing fairly quickly. No, this game is not, you know, I don't play Chaos, and Disco's working on his game, so these games are not going to be the highest quality perfect game with no lapses of micro or anything like that, but it's just to demonstrate the process of how we started looking at the build. So I've got these Chaos Warriors great weapons coming into the Norgamling's Ironbreakers, these Ironbreakers kind of coming into this way, and this battle's still resolving, taking a very, very long time, but it looks like these Chaos Warriors are going to get the Ironbreakers at some point, and I'm just chasing off some more Thunders with these guys. Kolek is just running around. I mean, at this point, the Ironbreakers can do some damage to him, but you know, and he takes a little while to push through, but I'm just going to keep on pushing him through to try and rear charge and get some damage in. And you can see, there we go, we're getting a rear charge on those Norgamling's Ironbreakers. We're tanking their leadership, and they're very, very close to breaking it. I saw their leadership go negative there for a second. Getting the Warhounds in here to help with these Iron Breakers, trying to finish off these Thunders. You know, you can see really I'm kind of doing what I want. You know, in this battle I can push Kolek everywhere around the field that I want. The Norgamling's Iron Breakers are now shattered. I'm coming in for some rear charges against these Iron Breakers, and Kolek has got stand or die with the leadership in the melee defense. We've got these Marauder Horsemen coming in for a rear charge. Now everyone's just going to collapse into that center pocket, and that is the battle. So we looked at the end plates and, you know, how to talk about this battle, and one of the things that can be really difficult to deal with are these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. You saw that in my game with Dav plays, where he just used these guys and absolutely crushed me. And these Chaos Poison Warhounds are surprisingly good. They're a really good unit, 18 and 37 kills, but with the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, 18, 42, 41, and 2. And they're, you know, they're killing Iron Breakers. They're not killing chumps. And they were going in and killing some Thunders. Now these Thunders, 32, 19, 22, 30, 44, not bad. And the Iron Breakers did fine, 37, 59, 56, 54, 89, and 60 for the Norgamling's Iron Breakers. And Ungrim did fine as well. And Kolek is always good, 73 kills, and the Sorcerer of Death got 19. So we went back and looked at where did the build struggle. And we talked about these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes and the Chaos Poison Warhounds, and you see those pretty frequently when you're playing up against Chaos, and you will see these Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but we know the Iron Breakers are pretty good against them. So we talked about altering the back line a little bit to be able to deal with these things effectively and still have some ranged options. So I'll go to the next replay and we'll get that. Where it is, training 3. Okay, so watch that replay. And here you can see, so what a Disco did was added 4 Bugman's Rangers and 1 Quarreler, and just kept basically the Iron Breakers the same way. So if you look, we've got, and very specifically, I wanted to, like, he knew exactly what build I was going to bring, obviously, and we talked about his build. And so we talked about how are we going to deal with these things. Now, the idea was he was going to bring Bugman's Rangers, and then that he also fit in a group of Quarrelers, so he could at least absolutely have something to deal with these guys and these guys. And we thought, well, how is that going to go? So we'll hit play. And I got the same front line, same thing exactly. I'm going to come in, and he's made his line a little bit different. You know, he's kind of made a staggered front line, and he has some Iron Breakers kind of all around the side. And he's got in here his pocket that he wants to keep running. And if you looked at his game against the Wood Elves, which was really nice, same kind of concept. So he's going to let me kind of poke in, come in, and I'm being careful. You know, I will be careful for a little while. I don't want to get absolutely murdered by these guys, but I get a little bit too close, and this is what happens. It's so easy to lose micro, so I get a little bit too close, and look at the damage these Bugman's Rangers are doing. It's just unbelievable. I want to get this engagement going and get kind of everyone in and find places for everyone. So I've got these Chaos Marauders coming in. I'm coming in and charging these Bugman's Rangers. I'm trying to post up and get shots into here, but he's got Bugman's Rangers shooting back at me, and you know, I'm getting Kolek Sun Eater in here, and he's coming in, and I've got Fade Abuna, I think, on these Norgamling's Iron Breakers, and he's got Ungrim Iron Fist in right away. I've got, you know, I wanted to come in and come up and around, you know, with these Chaos Warriors with great weapons to get into the Bugman's Rangers, and you can just see he's already routed these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and because I'm not paying close enough attention, and he's routed these Chaos Poison Warhounds, and he's about to rout these guys. He's routed these guys, these Marauder Horsemen, and where are my other Chaos Poison Warhounds, I don't know. But I'm running around with Kolek, just trying to keep him moving and keep him operational, pushing in with these guys, and he's getting some shots with the Iron Breakers, but I'm trying to just get into the middle of his line and muck it all about, and, you know, do a good job in pushing everything around. And You can see these Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. This is the last group I have left. I think I'm going to... Am I sending him in for charge? No, I'm going to send him in to start shooting at these Ironbreakers. I've got some Chaos Warriors with great weapons here. These guys, Bugman's Rangers, are mucked up. Now these guys are going to post up and start shooting back. And they're just... You can look at the damage they do to these Marauders. It's really, really strong. He's going to rout them off very, very quickly. I don't know if they are. There they are, negative 24, so they're going to rout off. So now, if you look back at the battlefield, all my edge pressure that I had in the last game from all angles, you know, it's all gone. So however the rest of this battle resolves, it doesn't matter so much as, you know, looking at how the build operates against these Marauder Horsemen. You know, so I'm, you know, trying to bring my Chaos Marauders in here now to get into the Bugman's Rangers. I've got Kolek is kind of getting beat down by Ungram. I've allowed him to get a little bit caught, so I'm gonna try and push him back out to get off to these Bugman's Rangers and do my best to continue to keep him active and try and get units on units, you know. And I got these Chaos Marauders in here. These Norgrimling Ironbreakers are fighting you know, like they're just holding up like total champs. These Chaos Warriors with great weapons are... This battle's resolving very slowly. This one's resolving very slowly. You know, and I've got to keep Kolek running because I got to run away from Ungram. And that's pretty easy to do in general, to stay away from Ungram, so I'm just kind of pushing him around. I want to get him up and around, so Ungram has a really hard time chasing him down, so I can keep using him. But these Bugman's Rangers now, they don't have as many line of sight issues. They're just going to start shooting at Kolek and keeping the pressure on. So these Ironbreakers are doing fine against these Chaos Warriors. Now my Chaos Sorcerer of Death has started to take some damage. I've broken the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. I've got Chaos Warriors here with great weapons, Chaos Warriors with great weapons here. And I don't know where my Chosen are. Or maybe I didn't bring Chosen. That could be the case. And you know, so we're kind of pushed in, but he's been able to reform a line back here with these Bugman's Rangers, and you know, he's going to shoot to wherever he wants, and he can start picking targets. And even though their damage might not be massive, I mean, it's really good against the Marauder Horsemen. I'm trying to charge these guys in, actually. You know, but they have charge defense. The Bugman Rangers have charge defense against large. They'll take that charge just fine. I'm trying to get my Chaos Sorcerer, because I'm trying to shut these guys down so that they can't take shots, because just any shots will reduce the leadership of whatever it's shooting, even if it's by a little. So now he's routed off these Marauder Horsemen, and Ungram Iron Fist is in much better shape. He can repost up here and start just shooting into Kolek. I'm trying to bring Kolek back in here now that I see Ungram is gone. And, you know, you can see the shots are coming in. They're not doing massive amounts of damage, but they are hurting Kolek Sun Eaters. Like he's there under missile fire, -5. And there he goes, -7. And he breaks, and that's really, really bad, because he's going to run off, and now I can't control him anymore. And he's still got 2 units of Bugman's Rangers that can just start opening up wherever they want. So, you know, I'm going to see some of these guys and try to bring them back. Kolek is routing. I think I might try and send these Chaos Warriors after Ungram and get Kolek around if he stops routing, and get him back in the fight. But this battle with the Ironbreakers is very atrocious. It takes a very long time to resolve, but you can see the big difference in this fight is that I just no longer have that edge pressure, and he's sort of been able to build up a second line of, you know, 1 group of Ironbreakers and 4 groups of Quarrelers, 3 groups of Quarrelers. You know, I've got Kolek. I got to find a place for him. I know he's low on health, but I try and put Foe Seeker on him, and he breaks, and then everyone else starts breaking, and it is a victory for the Daoi. So, you know, what we can say is, you know, this build held out quite nicely, and you can look, the Quarrelers actually didn't do all that great. 4 kills, but the Bugman's Rangers, 31, 28, 41, 33, they are immune to psychology. They do regenerate. You know, the Ironbreakers, again, 77, 39, 72, 30, 96. And these Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, I focused down with the Fate of Buna. You know, 31 kills they got. And Ungram was used much better. He got 17 kills. And, yeah, no, I didn't bring any Chosen. So, 48, 28, 59, 69, 46, 55 with these Chaos Warriors. Great weapons. But look at how handled these low-armored units were. 6... 1, 15, and 1 for my Marauder Horsemen, and 3 and 3 for my Chaos Poison Warhounds. And Kolek didn't get as many kills either because these guys weren't getting a ton of damage in, so Kolek was getting more damaged, and you could just see the difference. So I wanted to look at this build versus another form of Chaos build. So we went, and there I picked up, we'll see the next match. So I'll watch that replay. And the same build, but here is a totally different Chaos build with the 2 Hell Cannons and Sithoril, the Everwatcher. You know, and a group of Chosen, a bit of a different build, only two Marauder Horsemen this time. But we've got these 2 Hell Cannons, one on this side and one on this side. And this is somewhat similar to the build that Dov plays had against me, which is sort of hard to deal with. So I thought, well, let's see how this build holds up, and we'll get Sithoril in there. I know Sithoril has got 60% resistance to missile damage, and this time you can see, you know, I've got the Hell Cannon shooting in, so he has to come up and engage. And now I'm getting these guys around. I'm going to try and find good places for them again. But these Hell Cannons, I'm focusing in on the Norgelming's Ironbreakers. I've got very nice side shots. I'm just going to send Sithoril in there because I don't really have anything to fear with him. You know, I don't want to fight Ungrim per se. I want to kind of push him up and around and just muck everything up. And really, I just want to give a chance for my Hell Cannons to operate. And now you can see he's getting in there and mucking things up. So now I think, okay, now I'm going to bring these guys in here, and I think I'm going to give them an order to shoot into the backs of these Ironbreakers. And I'm just going to come around and post up with these Chaos Poison Warhounds. I don't have anything to fear here. I've got Sithoril just running around like he's taking some damage, but now I'm just going to send in my units because they're within range of the Bugman's Rangers. So I want to come in and sort of collapse, and then I'll bring in my Chosen with great weapons last. And now I think I'm going to switch my fire. So yeah, so I'm just taking my Hell Cannon. I'm going to shoot, trying to find with the Hell Cannons the best angle to shoot in. Yeah, so I'm shooting into these guys because they're angled in a way that the Hell Cannon can get pretty massive shots if they hit. You know, I'm coming in here with these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. I'm taking a few blasting charges. You know, and unfortunately these Bugman's Rangers are attacking, but we got these Chaos Marauders with great weapons. They're just Marauders, so I really don't care. Sithoril's kind of come out, and you know, Ungrim's put a bit of a beating, but I'm going to change these Chaos Warriors onto Ungrim and bring Sithoril right around the front so he can cast and he can still operate. Now I'm going to bring the Chosen great weapons. I really forgot those guys because I'm not good at playing the Chaos, but doesn't really matter. We'll bring them in, and I just wanted to bring Sithoril and make him safe. And now you can see I'm just, boom, massive shot with the Hell Cannons. I've been able to get these Chaos Poison Warhounds in. I'm still taking some damage with these guys, and I could have, you know, pushed these guys. Yeah, you see, I'm going to push them back to here to find a better place to come in. And, you know, because I don't want to take shots by these Rangers and these Quarrelers and everything else like that. And unfortunately, they break on the way out. But I think they'll stop around here. I'll be able to bring them back. But again, now I've got a very, very nice angle on these guys. You can see I'm shooting along the length, so hopefully we'll see. Oh, I must have just changed my target. Yeah, okay, so whatever the case, I've got Sithoril running around. He's not going to take a whole bunch of damage. You know, he's got good resistances. You know, I do have to watch for Ungrim, but I've got these Chosen with great weapons on Ungrim. This is an absolute disaster if Ungrim gets caught up by them. And these guys rally so I can bring them back. And I see Ungrim, so I'm just going to try and keep finding a place for Sithoril to go to get away. I'm not going to... I wanted to cast a spell. So, and you can see now these Hell Cannons are just going to town. They're just shooting. They're going to shoot until they run out of ammo. You know, nice big hit there. Now I tried to come in and get some shots on these Ironbreakers in the back. I'm trying to find a good place to get some shots with these guys. I've got these Chaos Poison Warhounds. I wanted to come and get these guys and knock them out, and they are shattered. So already we've got these Chaos Marauders with great weapons coming in against the Norgelming's Ironbreakers. I've got a couple shots with the Hell Cannons on this side. I wanted to just come in and charge these Bugman's Rangers and give them a shot. And I've got Sithoril. Again, he's just running around. He has nothing to fear from these Quarrelers at all. And it's really Ungram Iron Fist that I have to worry about. And Ungram is caught up by the Chosen with great weapons, who are taking out the Ironbreakers, and I think they got 2 units of Ironbreakers, so they're going to do a good job. These Chaos Warriors are coming on in, but you can see, you know, I'm just pushing around, and that Fear and Terror will affect Quarrelers. It won't affect Bugman's Rangers. But getting charged in the back sure won't help them, and there's an instant rout fight for them. And I'm just using Sithoril as I like, using my Kel Cannons as I like, just wherever I want to shoot. We'll see where this one goes. Probably right into the side of these guys. Hope, yep. And, you know, I'm going to run out of ammo because I have, you know, I could use them however I want. And this front line, you know, is still here. It's still existing. You know, there's Ironbreakers are really, really solid, but, you know, Sithoril has just been able to go wherever he wants, and Ungram can't catch him, and you can see the difference. All these Bugman's Rangers are now routing, and I still have these Chaos Poison Warhounds online. I might have a unit of Marauder Horsemen, I don't know, but I'm just using these Chaos Poison Warhounds to try and get rid of these guys, because there's nothing in the pocket that could stop Sithoril, because Ungram just can't catch him. You know, I think I'm gonna see Ungram coming again, so I'm just gonna take Sithoril and path him through, and Ungram can't get through there. And the only real threat I'm scared of in that back line is Ungram Iron Fist. So, you know, we got these Ironbreakers shattered, and, you know, there's tons of leadership here. Oh, I do have a group of Marauders, so I just want to send them in to help these Chaos Poison Warhounds and try and make sure these guys keep going. So, pretty big difference in this fight. You know, control these Marauder Horsemen a little bit better, trying to keep them out of the main battle. And now these Kel Cannons are both out of ammo. So this one's out of ammo, and this one is just about out of ammo, and then I can send them in. And still, Sithoril is just wandering around. Nothing to worry about at all. The Ironbreakers aren't going to do a ton of damage to him, so I can send him in and just sort of attack where I like. And you can see Ungram is stuck up here. He's doing a good job against the Chaos Warriors, and so are these Norgamlings, Ironbreakers, and regular Ironbreakers. But Sithoril has been able to kind of go wherever he's wanted, and you can see the difference. You know, the front line is still kind of intact. You know, he's even won this side. He has lots of Ironbreakers left, but I'm just charging and charging and charging, and these Ironbreakers are ready to go. These Chosen are still going pretty well. He does still have this one unit of Bugman's Rangers. Unfortunately, he can come there, and I haven't been able to get them off. But I believe I'm going to start sending in these guys. Yeah, my Hell Cannon crew are waddling up. Oh man, I can't wait till the Chaos Dwarves are in the game. This is going to be so awesome. The models look great. This is going to be fantastic. I hope it's coming in the third game. But yeah, now I've got Sithoril out. I've just got to keep Sithoril away from Ungram, and I want the Chosen on Ungram because I know they're going to do a great job. So I'm going to keep finding places for Sithoril to go. Oh, maybe I'm going to try and rear charge me or get a shot in and get my groups going. Now, this is a pretty atrocious battle, but you can see the difference of having the Hell Cannons in, and we are still actually a lot of time left in the battle. So these guys are out of ammo, so I'm going to bring them in. These Hell Cannon crew are finally coming out. They're unbreakable. I've never actually seen them charge. I wonder what that's going to look like, actually. They're going to rear charge some Ironbreakers. We'll get a bit of a cinematic shot here. Tattooed up. This looks great, hey? Well, even the models there look great. I can't wait. They're going to look so amazing in Warhammer 3. If Warhammer 3 is as big an improvement as Warhammer 2 was to the fidelity of the game, it's going to be pretty incredible. So these Bugman Rangers are going to shoot into Sithoril. It doesn't really matter. He has a lot of resistance, so I could just send him in. I want to try and kill Ungram here, I think, because Ungram only has like 198 hit points left. But you can see, you know, Sithoril was, like, he got way down in health right in the very beginning, you could see, but I was able to keep him out and push him around, and I didn't really have any problems. I had nothing to worry about, because all I had to look for was Ungram Iron Fist, because none of the other things are going to damage Sithoril. So, you know, he's happy stomping around and running around. I'm still trying to kill Ungram. He has 82 hit points left, and he's still fighting. So we're sending in the Hell Cannon crew, the Chosen with great weapons, and we finally got Ungram. So now everyone's going to start to shatter. And though it's an atrocious victory, it is a victory. And we started to look at this build again. Again, the Quarrelers really didn't perform. The other thing is that there was nothing to deal with Sethorl, and there wasn't a whole lot that could deal with Kolek in the first game. So when Disco and I were talking in this, the thing we figured was that the Bugman's Rangers are good. 21, 6, 44, and 60, and they handle any amount of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, Chaos Poison Warhounds, even regular Marauders with great weapons. You know, they can put some damage into Chaos Warriors. They can put some minimal damage into Kolek if he shows up. Sethorl's not a really good target, but, you know, the Quarrelers just aren't performing, but the Bugman's Rangers are. And we also really thought there needed to be in this lineup some sort of backline deterrent. So when we looked at the build, you know, one less Ironbreaker, not an awful thing. These Norgumling's Ironbreakers are just too good not to bring. Definitely not these Quarrelers. Ungrim is still awesome. We just needed another backline answer. So we'll go to the very last game, and I'll show you the build. So there we go for number 5. And we'll watch that replay. And here it is. So interestingly, we just wanted to just take out the Quarrelers and bring in, take out one group of Ironbreakers and bring in these Dragonback Slayers. Now these Dragonback Slayers just demolish, and I mean they demolish Sethorl. They're very, very good against him because they knock down his speed, and they're very good against Kolek with their anti-large. And we figured the Quarrelers weren't that great. Looked at bringing in another unit, but we liked the Bugman's Rangers. So what we did instead is there's kind of some of these, like when you rank things up, there's little tricks. So if you rank the Ironbreakers up with 1 Chevron, you actually get 3 stat points on melee attack and melee defense. So they're coming in starting at 31 melee attack and 70 melee defense. And in one of my videos against the Lizardmen, Bugman's Rangers at 3 chevrons is also another sweet spot. So instead of trying to add, we had 600 gold after getting the Dragonback Slayers in there left over, and instead of adding another unit, we made all the good units that operate well better. Just added some chevrons, 3 to the Bugman's Rangers, and this one got 4 because there was a little extra gold, and 1 to each of the Ironbreakers. So same build exactly. I'm going to try and do the same thing. Bring around these Marauder Horsemen. I'm going to shoot with these Hell Cannons. I'm going to get Sethorl in, but there's a big difference. With these, see, I know the Dragonback Slayers really chew up Sethorl, but you got to try and get Sethorl in and around. But what these Dragonback Slayers are going to do is just defend this pocket, because they're fast enough to go pretty much anywhere. Well, they're fast enough, 40 speed, but whatever they hit is going to slow down. So we're going to start this again. Again, got the Hell Cannons. This is really hard to contend with. You know, the Dowie don't exactly have flanking forces, and there is no units in here that are going to be able to get them. I'm going to start shooting in on the Norgumling's Ironbreakers and the Dragonback Slayers. Again, I'm going to bring in Sethorl to start just being a pain in the butt, you know, and so I'm going to bring him to the side because I know Ungrim's there and I don't want any piece of Ungrim, and I want to just keep taking shots, so I'm going to charge in there, and then I start getting shot by the Bugman's Rangers. You can see Sethorl is now at 39 speed. So now I've got to get him out. So when I got to get the rest of my army in, I thought I'd actually be able to get through those Ironbreakers. So I'm just trying to force path him out to get away from these Dragonback Slayers and Ungrim. And I think I am going to actually achieve it. Yeah, now I'm going to pull him back this way and get the rest of my army in. So I've got this feeling that I just have to be careful. Now he's posted up these Bugman's Rangers on this side, these guys on this side, and now Sethorl isn't in the back line running around. He's just going to bring these Dragonback Slayers to the middle. Doesn't have to do anything with them. You just got to protect this pocket. That's the whole idea. If he can get on Sethorl, he'll get on Sethorl. And, you know, now Sethorl really can't run deep into the Dowie back line. So I tried to charge in here with everything to get onto these Bugman Rangers, and these, like, Ironbreakers are no joke, boys and girls. Those blasting charges, look at that. That was absolutely crushing. I mean, they were getting hit by the Bugman's Rangers and everything else like that, but I'm finally getting the Chaos Warriors great weapons around. I just want to get into this pocket and I got my Chosen. I want to get into this pocket. I did try and run Sethorl in, but I just got to keep running away. Like, I'm faster than Dragonback Slayers if they don't hit me. I got 60 speed, so I'm trying to get these Chaos Warriors with great weapons up against, so I'm going to try and go through them. So, you know, I'm spending a lot of time microing Sethorl, and I'm not going to, like, what the heck am I doing here? I can't remember exactly what I did. I thought this is exactly what I was trying to do, is get these guys into the Dragonback Slayers and get these through. Maybe I misclicked. But I spent a lot of time playing with Sethorl and look at how much damage he's taking because he's in the middle of those Dragonback Slayers. Now, yeah, so now I'm going to do it correctly. So I must have misclicked, but I'm just going to force path him. He's got 39 speed again, yep. But these guys are going to just stop all this business, and now I can get him up and around again. And this is kind of going better because you can see, you know, there's a bit of a line here. Now these Chaos Warriors with great weapons got in the cookie jar. These Chosen are doing good against the Norgleming's Ironbreakers. These guys are coming back. But the integrity of this back line is significantly better than it was in the last game. And now I'm just running Sethorl out, and he's just going to take his Dragonback Slayers and try and get them away. This is an engagement he definitely doesn't want, and now I can start routing my routing units. And these Hell Cannons, I've been retargeting them, you know, and they've been shooting in the whole time. Free shots at whatever I like. What are these guys shooting at? Well, I don't have them targeted on exactly the right thing, but I brought these guys in, and I've routed those Bugman's Rangers. But you can see the general integrity of the pocket is a lot stronger in this game. You can see this whole business in here than it was the last game, because I just have had to been way more careful with Sethorl. You know, now I see sort of an opportunity, so I get Sethorl to come through this way, because you got to use these heroes. Is one thing that I've learned trying to play other factions, is you got to use them and you got to keep them moving. So now I think I'm going to come up here and try and get these guys. You know, so I keep on moving them around, but this whole battle is very, very different in that, you know, okay, I'm going to come in and rear charge the Norgleming's Ironbreakers and everything else like that, but it's been, you know, I think there's just like, it's 15 Dragonback Slayers in there, but that's plenty enough. They're going to come and absolutely obliterate Marauder Horsemen and Chaos Poison Warhounds, and then they're going to be able to come back, and they're still a threat to Sethorl. So I think, I don't know, where was I bringing Sethorl? I was just posting up here. I wanted to get away from Ungram. Yeah, now I'm going to go over here. So you can see I'm not giving him attack orders all the time. I'm trying to find a good place to put him, and then I'll probably bring him over here. There we go, yeah. So I'm just trying to keep him away from these Dragonback Slayers and Ungram and find a good place to put him. But I could feel like I kept having to move him. I was constantly clicking Sethorl, because this whole back line is a lot more intact. So you can see the Bugman's Rangers, they're still getting shot. I've still gotten tons of shots with these Hell Cannons. You know, these guys are almost out of ammo, and so it's not like he's shut down the Hell Cannons, nor did he necessarily have to. You know, I talked to him, and we're talking about the battle, and he could obviously have posted his Bugman's Rangers up here, you know, one on each side and taken out the Hell Cannons, but you know, that's not the point of this build. The point is to test the differences of the build. So now here I've gotten Sethorl in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Ungram Iron Fist is coming back at him, so I got to get him out again. And I see these Dragonback Slayers are like, oh no, got to run him out. And you can see, you know, these Chosen, I think, with great weapons are still doing just fine in the pocket, but everything else here is just much better for the Dowie. And I've got to run from these Dragonback Slayers. I do not want to get mucked up with them in this battle. And we've got the Ironbreakers here. Still, look at the health on these two groups of Ironbreakers against the Chaos Warriors. Chaos Warriors, great weapons, and now Sethorl. And remember, every unit here has more stats. Started with more stats. Now they're clearing up the Chosen. You know, these guys are just getting in some free shots against the Chosen. They've routed them. And, you know, taking a shot at Ungram because there's not much better, so I'm bringing in these Hell Cannons again, and these guys are now out of ammo, so I'll bring them. But you can see now he's got this big pocket of Bugman's Rangers that are out of ammo, Ironbreakers, Norgleming's Ironbreakers, who I tried to focus down again, Ironbreakers, and now I've got Sethorl. He's got to run and get out of the way, but I don't really have anything left. I've just got my unbreakable units. and he's got the Hell Cannon and the Hell Cannon, so we're just going to speed this up so we can get to the end plate. So I just sent Sathoril in, just because. So we'll look at the end plates, and here you can see we added some stats to all of these guys. They had started with 1 chevron, and they all gained an extra chevron, these 4 Ironbreakers. 81, 99, 79, and 32. Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, again, I focused them down. They only got 23 kills. But the Bugman's Rangers did even better. 61, 28, 27, and 21. They had more kills and more health. And I still wasn't, I was still able to shoot with these Hell Cannons. They got 1 and 2 chevrons non-stop. Shut down the Marauder Horsemen very, very well. The Chaos Poison Warhounds did a little bit better. These Chosen, still 140 kills. Sathoril, this is the big difference. I wasn't able to run Sathoril around the map as much. So, I mean, even the Chaos Warriors with great weapons got less. 11, 21, 10. This one got 60. And these Chaos Marauders with great weapons did basically nothing. So those stat points aren't nothing when you look at the build. So this is the final build, and I liked it from playing against it, and Disco liked it in terms of playing. It's 1 less unit on the battlefield, but all your units are even that much better. And even though these Dragonback Slayers got 0 kills, it was a pretty big deal that they were back there, because I couldn't use Sathoril like I had in the last game, and I know it would have been the same with Kolek. Would have had to been much more careful with Kolek Suneater. So the addition of 1 single unit totally changed the dynamic of the back line, and everything else is strong. So this is the build that we sort of settled on, and I've saved it to my build registry, and I'm definitely going to use it against Chaos, because it is just robust, it's simple, the concepts are straightforward, your Ironbreakers are strong, you have blasting charges for chaff, like these Chaos Marauders, you have something to deal with Chaos Poison Warhounds and Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and you even have the potential of using Bugman Rangers to go on stealth missions to get things like Hell Cannons. Like, this is not a super dynamic build, but it can be. Your Bugman's Rangers can still Vanguard deploy, and Ungrim is still very easy to use. So we're just going to go to the battle screen. Okay, let me see, custom battles. And you look, this is what we started with against Chaos, and we'll say we got rid of these guys. We added the Dragonback Slayers, which were a pretty big deal, changed to the Bugman's Rangers, and added, you can see down here we have 30 melee attack and 68 melee defense. 1 chevron goes from 31 and 70, so you get 3 stat points. It's a pretty nice deal. And this is sort of a sweet spot, 3 chevrons, which we found in our Lizardmen testing. And then you have 36 gold left, so we just added 1 more. And now that is the build. So definitely would highly recommend trying this build against Chaos. I can't wait to try it. I'm really looking forward to giving it a whirl. And even if I look at the game I played against Turn, I mean, I couldn't have actually brought this build because there was limits on Ironbreakers. You can only bring 3, and but I could have brought 4 Bugman's Rangers and maybe supplemented with something else. But Ungrim Iron Fist is quite solid in the matchup, and you got to run away from him. Kolek can actually beat him down if you can get him out in the open and knock him down, but the Ironbreaker is hard to run through. You saw Kolek not so much, but definitely Sathoril got mucked up in them, and these Dragonback Slayers they might feel like more of a threat than they are. They're one of those units that, in my mind, I was just constantly like, I have to stay away from the Dragonback Slayers because I know they can slow me down, and if they slow me down, Ungrim can catch me, and I know Ungrim has that anti-large and the big melee attack, and he can destroy me. And the Ironbreakers just hold and hold and hold, and these Bugman Rangers just do a great job, and they have regeneration, and they have charge defense against large, and they can obliterate, backline units like Marauder Horsemen and the Chaos Poison Warhounds, and they can get shots into bigger units like Kolek, and they're not going to do a whole lot against Sathoril, but they're going to do something. I mean, they're not going to do nothing. So this is the build, and I would definitely recommend if you have a Dowie set list, a basic armies that you play with. We saw Haku's army, which is a really fun Slayer based army, and now we have a really nice Ironbreaker based army. And I think this actual setup would work really well against the Beastmen as well. Disco and I were talking about that Beastman matchup, and I think this would actually be quite nice in the Beastman matchup as well, with the 4 Bugman's Rangers, the Dragonback Slayers, and Ungrim Iron Fist, and the Ironbreakers like this, and potentially other matchups. Like, this is just a solid all-around build. There are no bad units in the entire build, and they are chevroned up to be that much more beefy. And they're going to handle quite nicely if you're newer to multiplayer, because you have less units to manage on the battlefield. You only have 11 units to manage, and you have no abilities to manage. And Ungrim is going to do a great job, and your Ironbreakers are going to get off their blasting charges, and you just keep your Dragonback Slayers to protect your Bugman's Rangers or anything in the back line. Bugman's Rangers can kind of protect themselves too, and the Ironbreakers operate in the back. So anyways, would love to hear some comments. I love comments. Everyone knows it. I say it every time because I do. I've had so many videos inspired by comments, and it was one of Disco's comments that got me interested in this idea of getting together and developing a build. And he's out in England, so we're a bit of a time difference, but we were able to get together, after he put his kids to bed, and just chat a little bit about the builds. And I've got, I've already featured one of his battles on the kind of the guest battles, and I've got some more in there. He's got a great 4v4. I can't wait to show it, where he plays the Dowie. It's awesome. And he's got a few other battles that are really great as well. And I've got some more battles from Haku. Definitely, if you want to send in your battle replays, send them my way. You can send them to my email address, surugby@hotmail.com. That's tzurugby@hotmail.com. Just put on their Dowie replay so I know what it is, because that's like my email. I've had that email address for 20 years maybe. I don't know, a very long time anyways. Basically when Hotmail came out is when I got it. And send me your replays, and tell me what you think about the build. Have you tried a build like this against Chaos yourself? Have you played against a build like this as Chaos against the Dowie? Love to hear those comments. Love to hear your thoughts on the build and how they performed. Again, it's not the quality of the play in this is not the important part. We were chatting back and forth in Discord as the battle went, and we were talking a lot about the builds, and we mismicroed 100 different places, but that doesn't matter. It is how the builds developed and felt that is the important part. And in the end, this build looked really solid. Disco liked the way it felt. I liked the way it played against, and it looks like a build that I want to definitely play and try out. I know all these units to be great units. There is nothing weak in here. And even the chevron breakdown is really, really good for the units. That one chevron on Ironbreakers is really good. And it's pretty safe to add the chevron to those Ironbreakers, because like I did every game, you got to focus down those Dorgelmings Ironbreakers because they're so good. And then you have, I'll say, 2 wasted gold and 1 semi-wasted chevron. 4 chevrons is not that much better than 3. But, it's okay. 3 chevrons is a sweet spot. 4 is a little bit extra. So not the perfectly optimum distribution of gold for all my dwarf kin out there that's seeing that 2 gold up there. It bothers you. I know it bothers me too. But this is still a fantastic build. So comment, let me know what you thought of the build. I look forward to the discussion down below. Let me tell me what you thought of this video presentation. This idea of developing a build over a few games and working together with other dwarf players to do this. If you'd like to see more of this thing, if you'd like to be involved and get online with me and work on a build, I would love to do that. I've had such a great time doing this, and I would like to do it some more. Love to hear from you, as I always do. With that said, well, I guess that's all I do have to say, so I will see you soon.